Welcome to the next video of our complete engine rebuild guide. In this one I will show you how to remove the rear brake, clutch and shifter cables, as well as the shifter box while you're at it. In today's video we will take a look at what tools we need to complete this job, a step-by-step guide on how to complete it, and in the end we will do a hardware roundup to make sure that we do not lose any of our precious hardware. To make following the content easier, you can pause this video at any moment. That said, let's take a look at what tools we need. For today's job, we will need a flathead screwdriver, a ratchet driver, an 11mm socket, a 13mm wrench. Alternatively, you can use a 13mm socket, and you need a 7mm wrench. With our tools ready, let's take a look at the step-by-step guide on how to get this job done. The rear brake cable is attached behind the rear wheel hub, the clutch is attached to the clutch lever arm, and the shifter box is on the side of the engine. Start off by unhooking the rear brake cable and then loosening the nut, but do not completely remove the nut. Once it is loose, you can simply pull out the cable. It might need a little wiggling as the cables like to bend. The clutch cable is held in place by this cable end nipple. Simply loosen it with a 7mm wrench. If you end up accidentally loosening it too much, make sure you capture that little metal pressure piece that will evidently fall out. Pull the cable end off from the cable and then remove the cable from the clutch arm. Make sure to keep the rubber cable protector. Now you can pull both cables out of their adjustment screws. On many other models, the outers are attached to the swing arm. Make sure to remove that strap, otherwise you can't really move the cables. Remove the bottom bolt on the flywheel fan cover, as it gives you access to remove the shifter box cover and have access to the shifter cables. At this point you can take a decision. You can actually leave the shifter cables on there so you don't have to mess with adjustments, meaning you can simply just pull the shifter box off of the engine with the cables in there. This is an easy and quick way to make sure you don't have to mess with anything when putting the engine back in. Simply loosen the two bolts that are attaching the shifter box to the engine and remove the hardware. Then remove the outers from the cable holder, which is situated behind the kickstarter. This is why I removed the kickstarter, so you can see. And then here's the trick: shift into fourth gear. Now pull a little bit on the shifter box and shift past fourth gear and it will come right off. The reason this works has to do with lever position. Right now it is in neutral. When you shift in second, third, fourth, it comes out a little bit. Once you shift past it, it slides right out of the shifter plunger and you can pull it off without any issues. You can leave the shifter box hanging on the shifter cable and just move it aside when you remove the engine. If however you just want to remove the cables, you can leave the shifter box on there, just loosen up the cable ends and pull the cables out. Before we put away the hardware, let's make sure we have everything. From this job we are left over with the rubber cable protector and one of the cable ends in pieces. Make sure you keep that middle pinch piece. From the shifter box cover we have one bolt and one cover. And if you decided to remove the shifter box, we have the shifter box, washers and nuts, as well as the two cable ends that were holding the shifter cables in place. Thank you for watching. Click here to get to the next video in this series. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you like this, you can support us on Patreon. The link is in the description down below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.